Ladies and gentlemen, what does it mean in algebra when you compare numbers? What are they talking about? In this video, I'm going to show you how to look at ratios and proportions. What are ratios and proportions? And I'm going to give you a real life example in order for you to understand. So let's get started. So if you look at what we have here on the chart, just looking at this one chart here. This is a menu or a recipe on how to make 4 servings of honey frozen yogurt. So in order to make that yogurt, 4 servings of it, you would need 2 cups of milk, 2 eggs, 3/4 cups of honey, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 2 cups of plain yogurt, basically. So let's look at the servings of honey frozen yogurt to the cups of milk. So in this example, if we're talking about servings to cups of milk, what are we looking at? So we say for every 4 servings, you would need 2 cups of milk. So that right there, that is what a ratio is. A ratio is when you compare 2 numbers by division. So in this example, for every 4 servings, there's 2 cups of milk. So there's 4 to 2. You can write it that way, or you can write it this way, 4 to 2. Or like I said, 2 numbers compared by division, 4 to 2, 4 over 2. You see how that works? Now, what if I said I wanted 8 servings? So if I had 8 servings, how many cups of milk do you think that would be? More than likely, if the ratio is 4 to 2 and I doubled 4 to 8, and then I would double the 2, so it would be 8 to 4. So now we have 8 to 4 and then 8 to 4. Now when we look at these two numbers, 4 to 2, 8 to 4, if we were to reduce these numbers or find out what the common denominator is, or the common factor of these two, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 over 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2, 2 over 1, right? So 4 will go into 8 2 times. So if we were to reduce this, we'd get 2. So if these technically are equal to each other, you could say that 8/4 equals 4/2, because when you reduce them down, you get the same number. This is what we would call a proportion. A proportion is where you have 2 sets of numbers that are equal to each other in proportion to each other. So hopefully that makes sense. So now we'll do some examples. So there's a property, and hopefully I can explain this to you, where A over B equals C over D. If you have a situation where you have A over B equals C over D, then this property states that A times D equals B times C. So what just happened here, if I multiplied those two together, I'm actually doing what they're calling cross multiplication. If you see right there, I just multiplied the A times the D equals the B times the C. That's called cross multiplication. So this is a way to find out if ratios are proportion to each other. So let's take an example. Let's look at our example number 1. So in example number 1, we have 0.4 over 0.8 equals 0.7 over 1.4. So if we were to cross multiply to see if these were equal, we would have 0.4 times the 1.4 equal to the 0.8 times the 0.7. So if we were to multiply 0.4 times 1.4, your answer would be 0.56. Also here, 0.8 times 0.7, 8 times 7 is 56 as well. So your answer here would be 0.56. So when you look at 0.4, 0.8 to 0.7 to 1.4, these are proportion to each other because they're set to equal. So now let's look at the second problems. Okay, so now we have, for number 2, we have 3/4 equals 2/3. So let's cross multiply. We could start with our 4 times 2, which is 8, equal to our 3 times 3, which is 9. Those solutions do not work, so these numbers are not proportion to each other. Now, here's a situation where you bring in a variable and you're cross multiplying. So what we have here on this third problem is we have r over 8 equals 5 over 4. So let's cross multiply these. R times 4, that would give you 4r equals 8 times 5, which is 40. So you have 4r equals 40. So how do I get rid of this 4? Because we're trying to find out what r equals. I would divide both sides by 4 because this 4 is multiplied by the r. So we're going to do the opposite function and divide both sides by 4. When I divide 4 by 4, that's 1. So I'm left with r equals 40 divided by 4. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So this is a solution that you can solve, use cross multiplication to solve for a variable when you are setting two proportions or setting two ratios equal to each other. So I hope this helps. I hope that this has helped you in a certain way where you can understand ratios and proportions. If it did help you, pass this along to someone else who may need it. Please like and share, and we'll see you in the next video.